Now y'all had me scared for a minute, but y'all got me for the second episode. So let's get into it. Alright y'all, this be your boy Scotty and we're here for a review of a brand new LGBTQ reality show by the name of WebLyfe ATL, okay? It includes, who all on the show? Hey Mikey, Brandon Carson, Carl, what's the guy name? I think his name is Chris June, a girl named Lacy, somebody named, Larry, and what's that other girl name? Is it Frenchie or something? I think that's the whole cast I just named, okay? So we're going to get right on into it. They drop episodes 1 and 2. So this whole review will be about episodes 1 and 2. They're between 20 to 30 minutes long. The episodes are, so the review won't be that long, being that the episodes are very short. So let's get right on into it. So we meet Larry, okay? He wants to meet up with Brandon, okay? They're going to talk about a couple of things. And he has a shirt on that says sex work is work, okay? And Brandon comes into the building, to his house or whatever, and they get acquainted. Now they sit and they talk about how Brandon has an OnlyFans account and how people look down upon sex workers and things like that. I'm sorry, but if y'all hear something in the background, that's my little portable heater, because I'm in this closet and it be cold as fuck up in here, which is why I got on this jacket right now. But y'all know how it is. But they start talking about sex work, and they talk about how people look down on sex workers and try to make it seem like it's not real work and all of this other stuff. But you know, it is what it is. Sex work is real work. I don't look down on anybody for doing sex work. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. It may not be for me per se, but it's for you. Then do it for yourself, okay? And do it for your coin if that's what you're doing it for. So they started talking about fashion and how Larry wants to up his fashion game a little bit because he's pretty urban, so to speak. Because I know what that is like now, because I dress pretty urban and hip-hop-ish my damn self. But sometimes I can come out with a little dress shirt and some little, you know, some loafers or whatever when it's time to, you know what I'm saying? And you know, Brandon is not really feeling Larry's fashion sense at all. I kind of wasn't either, but it is what it is. Everybody got their own thing, child. Larry decided to do like a couple of photos or whatever, and he got somebody, he picked them up from the airport and took them straight to where they needed to be so he can do his photo shoot. And the person did the photos. Maybe 30 minutes later had the edits and all that ready, and the photos look great. So shout out to Larry for that. So we meet Chris June. He's obviously an actor, a singer, and songwriter, and I have never heard of him before until tonight when I watched the show. And I must say that he is very handsome. And yes, I did go to his Instagram, and yes, I did follow him, and he's very handsome to me. And I even went through a little bit of his videos to see if he know how to sing, because you know, people get on these damn web series and shit like that, and they always want to put out there that they a singer and a songwriter and they know how to sing and all that other shit. They want to get on these damn shows, especially these male singers, and act like they sang like Gerald Levert when they really sing like just sing like some damn Miley Cyrus. That's how they really sound. They don't sound like Gerald, they sound like Miley. That's what the fuck they sound like. They ain't got no voice. But Chris June actually got a voice on him, and he's actually filming a music video for one of his new songs, and he decided to get Brandon to, you know, be his co-star in the video. Now, of course, he had other people in mind, but Brandon was the best choice. Now, we meet Hey Mikey. Now, he is a journalist, a blogger, and social media influencer. He has over 40,000 subscribers. Now, one thing I'm going to say about Hey Mikey is this right here, because I had the opportunity to have a personal conversation with him over the telephone when we were talking about me doing, you know, this show or whatever. He is a great person. It's a lot of advice that he's given me as a person that's up and coming, is an up and coming media personality. Because let's just be honest, I've been doing YouTube for 10 years, and my 10th year is where I saw all of my opportunities, and now I can honestly say that I am an up and coming media personality. And he gave me a whole lot of pointers, a whole lot of advice, and just everything. So I really appreciate Hey Mikey, honestly, and I'm really rooting for him and this television and this reality show, to be honest, because it is something that he's a part of, something that he's behind. So I really want to support it. So shout out to Hey Mikey. I just had to put that out there because he, you know, they do try to say that he messy as hell and all this other stuff, but just in that particular conversation, he was pretty good to me. He gave me a tons of advice, and I really appreciate it. It's advice that I will live by in my journey of being a media personality. So shout out to Hey Mike. But he wants to set up a meeting with Brandon because Brandon wants to do a talk show. He's always experienced the fact that he wanted to do that. Now, he feels like Brandon's good looks is going to always get him through the door, and that is true. When you're in the entertainment industry, when you do have good looks, they do get you through the door immediately, sometimes faster than most people. So sometimes when you got that look, you already got it in there, but you got to get your business sense together. You know, you may have the look, but do you have the business? So he puts him in the meeting with another guy, and they were talking about the talk show and how, you know, he did OnlyFans because he wasn't making a lot of money. He was broke at the time, and he had to do something to pay his bills, and OnlyFans is definitely paying his bills, and he wanted to be taken seriously as an actor, and he was doing this and that, this and that. So as far as that goes, he got that down packed. But when it came down to getting a budget together, he really couldn't come up with no numbers at the time. So like Mikey said, the meeting was good, but when it came down to the budgeting, that's where it kind of faltered a tad bit. And when you're trying to do business like that and want to get a show off the ground, and you want people to spend their money on it, you need to know how much money you want to spend, what numbers do you see it coming, and just go from there. Because you can't come to no meeting like that trying to pitch a show and not have no numbers behind it. You got to be able to do that so they can negotiate and see what numbers would work for them as a company. So that's what he fucked up at, and you know, this is a learning experience. So Mikey and Larry, they're in the car and they're headed to East Point to go meet up with Lacy, because Lacy is getting her new apartment. And you know, Mikey was basically talking to Larry about his disadvantages in the gay community and how he just doesn't have many connections in the gay community, how he can't make a lot of friends in the gay community. It never works out. And honestly, I totally connect with Mikey on it. Like, it seems like I will connect with Mikey on a lot of things, being that we did have that conversation over the phone and whatnot. But I think that I can connect with him on a lot of stuff because I too cannot connect to the gay community at all. And I have several gay friends, including my good Judy Jamar 84, who is my co-host of my show and my business partner. But I also I'm not the most gay friendly person in the world. Like, I just never get along with them, and a lot of people have told me, you know, you should do one of these LGBT reality series or whatever, and I feel like I'm entertaining enough to do it. I don't have to be extra loud or boisterous to do the shit, but it's all about how would the people perceive me, because anytime I've been in gay related events and stuff like that in my area, it never works out for me. People don't want to deal with me. Like, people don't want to talk to me. People, it's just, I don't get embraced a lot. And the gay community has always been bitches looking upside my head and shit, or I've been perceived as a snob, pretty much. It's only because meeting new people is very uncomfortable for me, so I can be a bit closed off. So I can see how that could be off-putting to some people for me being closed off. So I do understand that. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm innocent or perfect, but I do understand how that could be a little off-putting for me to be a bit closed off. I do understand that. But Larry started saying, well, are you the victim? This victim stuff, and it got to be you that's not getting along. And I was just, and Larry was just, not Larry, Mikey was taken aback by that, because he was like, I'm never nobody's victim, so I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I don't know where the hell that came from. But just because he's saying that he doesn't get along with people does not mean that he's a victim. He did say that partially the reason is being that he is a blogger. He is a journalist. He talks about things, and then he said, you're gossiping, you're not a blogger. Well, that's just like saying Wendy Williams wasn't who she markets herself as, but she was a gossip, and a lot of people didn't like her. A lot of the times when you do celebrity news and blogging and gossip and things of that nature, people aren't gonna like you. I mean, take me for example. I review these reality shows, especially these LGBT reality shows, and some people do be upset with the things that I say, but I don't give a damn, because you place yourself out there to be not necessarily criticized, but to be critiqued based on what you give. Just like I put myself in front of this camera to be critiqued by other people. It may not be comfortable all the time, but that comes with the territory. So we meet Lacy, okay? She's in East Point, I believe. And Mikey's being tad bit judgmental about the neighborhood. He calling it ghetto and all this other stuff. And I'm guessing because he had a bad ghetto-ass experience where he got held up in East Point by somebody. And I was just like, okay, that's what it is. But come to find out, I think I'm going to like Lacy a little bit. Like, I kind of like her personality, her demeanor. It's just something about her that I think I'm going to like. So, shout out to Lacy. Then Mikey and Brandon, they meet up together. And they talk about the meeting that Brandon had with Mikey and his counterpart. And Mikey did say that the meeting went well until it was time to talk about numbers. And when you're talking about a talk show and things of that nature, you got to have your numbers on point and you got to know what you got to do. So Brandon did take heed to what Mikey was saying, and that was that on that. But then Mikey invited him to a brunch, and Brandon was like, okay, what is this going to be? Is this going to be an attack Brandon type of thing? Because I don't want to be around a bunch of bullshit. And Mikey said it's not going to be no attack Brandon thing, because you know I'm not with the attack Brandon anything. This is the brunch that I'm doing. I want you to show up. I want you to come, and I want you to you know, show your face, get to know everybody, and see what it is. And that's when Mikey said he was inviting Carl. So I follow Carl. Like, I follow Carl. Okay, I follow him on Instagram, and I follow him due to my connection to Tramiel, because I'm cool with Tramiel. I'm not as close to Tramiel as Jamar is, but I am cool with Tramiel. And I do know that he and Tramiel have this podcast called The Corporate Mouth. I do know about that, which I do support. And I think that Carl is cute. I said that to Jamar. And I think that he's funny, because I've seen him on live many a times, cursing people out, talking about whooping somebody's ass. You know, that's a plus for me. And I've seen him on Danita's show, Hot Seat. Shout out to D. Rashawn. And, you know, I like his personality. So when I heard that he was going to be on the show, I'm like, okay, now I'm excited about this. So when he came in, I was already, like, here for it. Like, to be honest, I'm like, yeah, the show is cute, but it's not giving me nothing. But then when Carl came on the scene, I'm like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? I see that he's going to liven this shit up, because Brandon is all about his business. And Mikey is all about his business too. And I actually like Mikey and Brandon personalities. I do, because I've interviewed Brandon before with Justice League. And I like Carl too. So I'm like, okay, so Carl gonna be the one to spicing this shit up, and you know we're gonna be ready for the get down. So it's time for the brunch, okay? And Carl was like, he had to drive 40 miles all the way to the Loop to have a brunch at somebody's apartment. I don't know. I usually don't like people like this on these shows, but Carl is funny as hell. I think that's what makes it different, because he's fucking funny, okay? Then he started talking about, hey, Mikey and his auntie outfits and shit like that. And then not only that, he decides to pull Chris June to the side, and he says Chris June seems to be very sensible. He don't be in no mess. And I just want to see what he got to say. So he starts asking Chris June about Brandon's OnlyFans, and he was like, ain't he getting paid over there? Like, why he got to do with OnlyFans? Why he got to do with OnlyFans? And I'm like, okay, I already see what Carl finna be. Carl is WebLyfe ATL's Sheree Whitfield. That's what he's giving me. He's giving me a bit of Sheree Whitfield at this point. Like, he finna get this shit. Child, I cannot. Like, and Chris June was just like, you know, I think Carl had showed Chris some of the shit that he had on OnlyFans, and it was kind of like, oh, okay, I didn't know it was like that, you know what I'm saying? So then Lacy pulls Brandon to the side, and she asked about his issues with Signal 23 TV and all of that other stuff. And then, you know, he starts explaining it, and he was saying that they've gotten past everything. So Lacy was like, well, I know he offered you a part, and you know, they were saying that you said no about the part. And then he was like, well, yeah, I respectfully decline. Lacy was like, you are not in the position to decline any part when you know you need the work. And I'm just like, oh, Lacy shady. So after that, call goes to Mikey and he brings up the OnlyFans thing, and Mikey clearly gets upset. Off the rip gets upset, and he was like, listen, if you bring this shit up about this OnlyFans to Brandon when there's a sore issue for him, I'm gonna kick your ass out of my shit. So don't bring that shit up. So Carl was like, I was just asking. And then he was like, don't bring that shit up, which is true, you know what I mean? And Carl was like, are you fucking him or something like that? It ain't got to be about him fucking him, Carl. That is his fucking friend now. Because you know, if somebody was popping shit about Tramiel, you will be ready to pop. So let's not act like you wouldn't be ready to pop if somebody was talking shit about Tramiel now. Let's not do that. So then Mikey tells Brandon about what Carl is sitting up in the kitchen talking about him being on OnlyFans and things of that nature. And then Lacy brings up the fact that it was said that they were dating, or Mikey wanted Brandon and all this other stuff, but Brandon did own up to the fact that Mikey did express his interest in him a long time ago, but Brandon only wanted a professional relationship with Mikey, and he did say that Mikey did not appreciate that shit, but they got past. So Mikey was basically speaking his piece at the table as far as them sitting down and eating and stuff like that, and we started talking about body positivity. So when he started talking about body positivity, messy ass Carl had to sit up here and bring up Brandon's OnlyFans sit while they was all at the table. So now it was Carl versus Brandon at this point. Brandon starts going in on a corporate mouth, talking about how boring it is, talking about how they never had any refutable guests, and I'm just like, ooh, shit, I wonder how you feel about my shit. Ooh. And they're just going back and forth, and then next thing you know, Carl starts going in on Mikey too. Like Mikey and Carl start going back and forth, and it just led to Mikey putting Carl out of his house. And the Carl started laughing his ass off as he was walking down the damn steps. Listen. I mean, like let me tell y'all, this shit scared me at first. I thought this show wasn't gonna be about a goddamn thing. I was really gonna try to review it off the strength of Mikey, and off the strength of Brandon because I really fuck with them, and off the strength of Carl because I really like him. But at first I was scared that this shit wasn't gonna be about nothing. But the second episode kind of won me over, and I'm ready for the rest. And all I gotta say is, you guys, be sure to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. If y'all don't know where you can find this show, and if you haven't watched it yet, I'll leave the link below so y'all can go to the channel so y'all can see it for yourselves. Also, be on the lookout for different interviews with me and some of the cast members, okay? So be on the lookout. This is another show for me to add to my list of shows to review, and I'll holler at y'all later. Peace out. What the fuck? And my social media is at the bottom if I didn't say nothing about that. But yeah, we are for real now.